So you might be wondering why this pint-sized soprano is here to teach you the greatest tenor aria of all time, Nessun Dorma, but why not? I wasn't allowed to sing this aria when I was young and studying, but I believe that music is totally inclusive and we can all sing whatever we want to. It's all about bringing joy, and it's a great aria. So my tutorial, as always, is in-depth. It is loaded with singing tips to help you sing, not just Nessun Dorma, but actually just to improve your singing in general. Phrase by phrase, technical insights, technical fixes, interpretation, healthy singing, just everything you need to perform this either in your bathroom or to the hordes of people who will want to hear you singing it once you've learnt it with me. When Puccini wrote this opera in the 1920s, there was a real fascination with everything that was Oriental, especially ancient Oriental. And unfortunately, a lot of that stuff was made up because people didn't actually really know anything about Oriental history, or very little. So the actual events of Turandot are extremely fantastical and not really based on fact. But because it was so made up, it was actually banned in the People's Republic of China until relatively recently, because they didn't think it was particularly favourable as a depiction of their ancestors' lifestyles. So in the opera, we have the Princess Turandot, who is cold, closed, emotionally not particularly conversant, let's say. And she is supposed to get married. She's expected to get married, but she doesn't want to. And she sets 3 riddles for all her suitors, which are impossible to solve. And when her suitors come along and they incorrectly guess the answers to the riddles, she has them executed until Prince Calaf comes along and he manages to answer the riddles. And he's fallen in love with her in such a way that he just is totally confident that he's going to be able to answer the riddles, and that when he does, and she is just devastated because she doesn't want to give herself up, he still gives her an out because he believes in the triumph of love. So he still says, okay, even though technically now we're supposed to get married, if you can guess my name, then I'll leave you alone. You can be free and single forever. So she turns the kingdom upside down to try and find out his name, including a bit of torture and murder to be able to discover his name. He, meanwhile, sings Nessun Dorma, which is all about knowing that once he has kissed his name onto her lips, that she will fall in love with him. And this is just something that, it's more than a belief, it's a knowledge that love will transform her. And of course it does, and everybody lives happily ever after. Basically, no one shall sleep, even you, princess, looking at the stars. When I kiss my name onto your lips, then that will dissolve the silence and make you mine. And I will conquer, it finishes with. It's really great if you can find yourself a copy of the music. It doesn't matter if you don't read music. You'll be amazed how much information you will actually be able to read. And also you can add information of your own. So when I go through the pronunciation, you can add phonetics. That's how it sounds to you. Just to remind yourself that sounds an or an oo or whatever. And you don't have to write them all down, just the ones that you're not sure of. And you can write all the other little technical things that I tell you just to remind you, so that when we go back and sing it through in the sing-along later on, you have all those cues and reminders right in front of you. So PDFs, free PDFs are available online readily. The original key of this aria is G major. It's really high. It's a high tenor aria. So I've chosen just to pop it down 3 semitones so that it isn't too high. It's more accessible for more people. Yeah, I mean, it's a nice key, actually, to sing it in E major. It works really, really nicely. It's a nice, sharp, bright key. Speed-wise, I will do the teaching sections, the technical sections quite slowly, and then we'll go more up to speed when we do the sing-along together at the end. It's a short aria, but it's also a massive aria. You need to be fully warmed up. So that means warming your entire voice up, not just the top because it's high, but you need to warm up the bottom end as well. You need to warm up beyond the highest note of the aria. So pick a key. This is like pro tip stuff. Pick a key that doesn't utilize your highest note. So pick a key that's actually down a notch so that you've still got notes to spare that are usable notes within your range. But make sure you warm up right to the very top of your range, and then you'll be safe on the highest note in the aria. But the full warm up bottom to top. And I would say if you are going to perform this, then it would be a good idea to, once you've settled on your key and you've worked on it and it's all in your muscle memory, just then practice it a semitone higher a couple of times before you perform it, because then when you come to perform it, it's going to feel so much easier. First things first, you come in on beat 4 and you have a short introduction of just 3 beats, and it's really sensible for you to be breathing during those whole 3 beats. So 1, 2, 3, you need to have been breathing at that point, and then Nessun Dorma, Nessun Dorma. So our text is Nessun Dorma, and then that repeats, Nessun Dorma. So let's just say it to the rhythm. 1, 2, 3, Nessun Dorma, 3, Nessun Dorma. And now we'll sing it. 1, 2, 3. Nessun Dorma, Nessun Dorma. So 2 short phrases so you can take a breath right in the middle. Try and pitch the N of Nessun on the note. You can pitch it and then let the air start to resonate. Nessun Dorma, breath. Nessun Dorma. And drop your jaw for the ma, and then that will resonate nicely too. Next phrase, the text is Tu pure, o principessa. Just say that with me. So we've got to get tu pure all together. Eo, tu pure, o principessa. With me? Tu pure, o principessa. I'll just sing that one and then we'll add the next part in. So it's 1, 2. Tu pure, o principessa. So again, pitching the t of tu on the note. So that's something that you'll do in any aria that you sing. It's not just specific to this one. Pitching your consonants on the notes that they belong to is transferable to everything else that you do. Principessa, double S, and you're going to just linger on that a little bit longer. I was going to say something else, but I've forgotten what it was. Oh yeah, repeated notes. Tu pure, o Just be careful that your pitch doesn't drift south. It's really easy with repeated notes to go a little bit flat. So here we go again. 1, 2. Tu pure, principessa. Breath. Nella tua fredda stanza. So rhythmically in text there. Nella tua fredda stanza. Nella, double L, so just linger on that. Fredda, linger on that one a little bit. You actually stop the air there. Fredda, and stanza is all nice and open. 1, 2. Nella tua fredda stanza. Now, when you get to the R of stanza, you need to do a crescendo. Now, there's no punctuation there, and you could go through if you had enough breath to go through and do a crescendo and be able to get through to the next breath. But Puccini has marked it just as one phrase, so you can take a breath there, and certainly Pavarotti takes a breath there, and if Pavarotti does it, that's good enough for me. So before you go on to the next phrase, the guardi phrase, stanza, you want to try and do a crescendo and then take a breath so that when you go up to the guardi le stelle, you've carried the volume up so that F, as I'm doing, well, it's an F sharp in the original key, doesn't pop out as a really super loud note out of nowhere. You need to do the crescendo on the note before. So I'll just put those two phrases together from Nella tua fredda. 1, 2. Nella tua fredda stanza, guardi le stelle che tremano d'amore. So text there, guardi le stelle che tremano d'amore. So guardi is quite loud, and then you can come down through stelle, and then there's a crescendo through che tremano d'amore. This is the stars trembling with love. So let's just sing that. Say it first together. So from guardi, let's speak it through. Guardi le stelle che tremano d'amore. And now we'll sing it. Again, pitch your G up on the upper note. Guardi le stelle, breath, che tremano d'amore e di speranza. So you've taken a breath after d'amore. We're doing a diminuendo as marked in the copy, and then di. So you've got a smooth vowel onset. So just make sure the air is flowing so that we don't get a glottal which you don't want there. Nice smooth onset. Di speranza. And Puccini's marked a little accent on the word D to just give it a little bit more emphasis. Next phrase, start quietly here because you've got a big crescendo to do. So text-wise, we'll just go through that first. Ma il mio mistero è chiuso in me. Lots of elided vowel sounds there. Ma il mio mistero è chiuso in me. So the rhythm is Ma il mio mistero è chiuso in me. So you just have to run all the vowels super, super legato, run them all into one another. So you get this super, super legato smooth line. Ma il mio mistero è chiuso in me. Just do that one with me because it's a tricky little phrase. And one. Ma il mio mistero è chiuso in me. Breath. Il nome mio nessun saprà. So this phrase is noticeably louder than the last one. The rhythm is almost the same. The words il nome mio nessun saprà. So sung, il nome mio nessun saprà. Again, you've got a smooth vowel onset. Il. Let the air start flowing before you join the voice onto the airflow. Il. If you really struggle with this, you can put a tiny little H in front of it. Il, which will just help you transition onto the supported breath flow. And then gradually you take the H out of it. Il nome mio nessun saprà. Breath. No, no, solo tu bocca lo dirò. So, not, breath. Hello down there, lost. He doesn't like the high notes. Not, breath. Sulla tua bocca lo dirò. And you can take a breath after bocca, but it's much nicer if you can go through there. There's no punctuation and it does make sense of the words. I know my name, so the il nome mio nessun saprà. No one will know my name. On your mouth, I will tell it. So he's talking about kissing his name onto her mouth. So it's all one phrase if you can, but a breath after bocca is okay. So if I go from no, sola tua bocca lo dirò. Breath. Quando la luce. So after bocca, so you're pitching the b of bocca on the note. It's an A in the original score. Bocca lo dirò. Breath. Quando la luce. So quando la luce. Quando. There's a tenuto mark, just a little line over the do, which means that you just lean on that syllable a little bit more than the others. Then you're going to take a breath because, once again, Pavarotti does, so it's good enough for me if Pavarotti breathed there. And then splenderà. And there is a little, it's called a pause or a fermata on the splen. So that's, it looks like a little eyebrow with a dot in the middle. And that's the one that we hold longer than it's actually printed. Splenderà. And do a diminuendo on splenderà. It's a longish note for you to do a nice little diminuendo on. And then we have our next section. Text-wise, we have ed il mio bacio scioglierà il silenzio. Again, lots of eliding vowel. So you move smoothly between the vowels. Ed, eel, so those two are just single vowels. And then mio, so two vowels, elide them together really smoothly. Bacio, scio, lierail, silenzio. So let's just say that together. Ed il mio bacio scio lierail silenzio. So all together, again, you've got a good bar and a half really to take a breath here. So you've got 2.5 beats of the actual bar that you sing in to be taking your breath. So you've got heaps of time to prepare. 1, 2, 3. Ed il mio bacio scioglierà il silenzio. So rhythmically we've got 1, 2, 3. Ed il mio bacio scioglierà il silenzio. With me again, let's sing it. 1, breathing, 2. Ed il mio bacio scioglierà il silenzio. And if you thought there wasn't enough to think about in that particular phrase, there are another couple of things that I'm going to chuck at you. Smooth vowel onset. And you can be breathing that note in before the phrase starts. And then bacio scioglierà. It has a big crescendo and diminuendo right through the phrase. 1, 2. Ed il mio bacio scioglierà silenzio. Breath. Che ti fa mia. And text there, nice and easy. Che ti fa mia. Che ti fa mia. And the only tricky little bit there is that little accent. Che ti fa mia. And just a nice open R at the end. Just lift the voice off the breath to end that note. Then we're coming up to the big climactic bit. So what happens here in the opera, the chorus sing actually. The tune. Breathing here. And then you take over. So text-wise, you have dilegua o notte. Dilegua o notte. So to the rhythm with me. 1, 2, 3. Dilegua o notte. Let's sing it together. 1, 2, 3. Dilegua notte. Next bit of text. Tramontate stelle. Tramontate stelle. Sung. Tramontate stelle. Breath. Tramontate stelle. So fortunately, that little bit of text repeats there. So you get the same bit of text twice, which is always a blessing, especially when you're trying to memorize your words. So this is the bit that says, vanish, O night, the stars are going to set. The tramontate stelle is the stars setting. Dilegua notte. Again, you've got a consonant onset. D, breathing the note in, but pitching the d right on that note. Dilegua. Legua. You've got to get from dilegua on the third note. Another breath, quieter here. Huge breath. All'alba vincerò. So all'alba vincerò. Rhythmically, all'alba, vin is the one with the pause on it, so that's the one that you're going to make longer. C'è short, and then ro is a long note with a crescendo on it, so you have to have lots of breath. So imagine that you've sung Tramontate Stelle, and you're taking a huge breath. All'alba vincerò. And then we're into the huge finish that everybody knows, but I want to say one more thing about all'alba. Has 3 tenuti on each note. All'alba just means that you lean on them. So it's not hitting them like the accents. It's just leaning on those 3 notes. So they're a little bit more emphasized. All'alba vincerò. Crescendo molto means a big crescendo. Next phrase. Vincerò. Now you've got to have your mouth in the ah shape for all of these phrases that are coming up now. So vincerò. Put all of that in the ah space. Vincer. If you try and sing vincerò, you're going to get really stuck on the high note. So dropping the jaw whenever you can. Vincerò. Huge breath. Vincerò. And you don't do a diminuendo here. This is absolutely the climax of the piece. So it stays fortissimo all the way through to the end of that note. 4 whole beats of fortissimo. Actually requires a huge amount of breath. And then to finish that note, if you have your mouth nice and open and wide in the ah space, you just lift the voice off the breath. And it carries on ringing. If you try and stop the air, you get that horrible glottal end. And this is true of so many people. We actually find it really difficult. If we've found that high note and we're really happy with it, it's really hard to end it, to know how to end it. So you have to just keep the air flowing and lift the voice off the breath so that the sound will ring on and you don't have an ugly kind of falling off that high note at the end. I would do back to front practice. So this is my singing tip for this, and actually many other arias too, especially when they have a big finish. It's a really good idea to practice the end first and then practice the middle section and then go back to the beginning. So you'd be practicing your last 2 phrases, 3 phrases. So all of that big finish crescendo part as one section, and then have a rest because it's actually vocally taxing. If you always start at the beginning and sing all the way through and then decide that you're going to practice on, do a big chunk of practice on the end, you're going to end up really vocally tired, and you're just practicing being tired and getting being tired into your muscle memory. You really don't want that. It's hard, isn't it, to put yourself in the shoes of someone who is so passionate, has this incredible, unshakable belief that she will fall in love back with him, even though she hasn't done anything to indicate that she might. I mean, she's literally chopped off hundreds of suitors' heads. So you just have to think about something that you believe in really, really firmly and passionately and unshakably. For me, I believe passionately and unshakably that music is a force of great good and is inclusive and uniting. And as soon as I start talking about that, the passion starts to rise on that particular topic. So just whatever makes you passionate. If you're lucky to have a great love in your life like this, then that's what you'll be thinking about. But it's you've got to tap into your feelings of hope, passion, determination, and just this incredible, unshakable belief that she's going to fall in love with you. And frankly, anybody who sings this aria should have somebody fall in love with them because it's fab. Sing along time. So this is where you have all your notes and your music in front of you. Nessun dorma. Tu pure, o principessa, nella tua fredda stanca, guardi le stelle che tremano d'amore e di speranza. Ma il mio mistero è chiuso in me, il nome mio nessun saprà, no, no, sulla tua bocca lo dirò, quando la luce splenderà. Ed il mio bacio scioglierà il silenzio che ti fa mia. Dilegunote, tramontate stelle, all'alba vincerò, Well, I've thoroughly enjoyed making this tutorial for you today. I hope you found it helpful. As always, I love to get your comments, so please drop something in the comments. Let me know what you think about whether I should be singing tenor arias or not. Like, subscribe, and if you want to take your support a little bit further, you can always join up and become a member. And if you want to hop over to my channel Singing Lessons Online, you can see there where to book a lesson if you want to take your singing to the next level.